All right, welcome, guys. This is week 2 for the Armchair Express podcast on armchairallamericans.com. I'm your host, I'm Daniel Nera, and I'm the Patriots writer for Armchair All-Americans, well, one of the few. And real quick, we're just going to introduce people. So first off, we have Richard.
What's up, guys? This is Richard Cano, writer for America's team, the 10-1 Dallas Cowboys.
All right, next up, we have Matthew.
Hey, what's up, guys? Matt Martinez, writing for the Pittsburgh Steelers.
All right, Jeremy.
This is Jeremy Bush, writing for the Arizona Cardinals.
Next up, we got Christian.
I'm Christian Babcock. I occasionally write things about the LA Rams, or as they're called around LA, the LA Shams.
I'm so sorry for you. Next up, we have Taylor.
Hey, guys. I'm the Bears writer at ACAA, Kevin Feltman here.
All right, so that's who we have on the podcast this week. So let's start off with the game picks. And the first one we have is Cowboys going to see the Vikings. So we'll let Richard start off with that.
I was a little concerned about this game when making my pick just because of that Vikings defense, but I found something that has made my pick a lot easier, and that is that the Vikings have allowed 100.2 rush yards per game. And with the rush being our primary focus as an offense, I don't think the Vikings have much of a chance other than their good home field advantage. Their offense has been terrible of late. They don't have a rushing attack, and they also don't put up a lot of yards per game. Could the Cowboys defense be the one that they break out against? Yeah, I'll give you that. But I don't see the Vikings winning this game, and I'm going to go a little bold on my prediction. Let's remember on Thanksgiving, I was only off by 2 points. But I'll say Dallas 28, Minnesota 14.
Okay, I can see that. And, if this was at the beginning of the season, I would have said real quick, the Vikings without a doubt. But now, second half of the season, Cowboys, I don't think there's much of a debate there.
Yeah, and like I said, this team is going to lose sometime soon, and I'll go on record right now. I think it's going to happen against the New York Giants. I think the Giants might sweep us, but it'll be too late to do anything division-wise. But the Giants are the only team I fear remaining on the schedule other than possibly the Lions.
I mean, as a Patriots writer, I'm not a fan of the Giants, so I know everything about that. So moving along to our next game, we have the Giants versus the Steelers, and Martinez is going to take that. But before he does, I just want to let everyone know real quick, we are just covering games this week of which we have writers for. So we're not going to get to every game. I know, I'm sorry. But anyways, going on ahead with the Giants versus the Steelers. You can go ahead.
Yeah, this game is going to be a real test for Pittsburgh. They kind of went on a losing streak, I think 4 in a row. And then they won their last 2 against the Browns and the Colts. A winless Browns and a Andrew Luckless Colts. So they did win pretty easily against both teams. Actually, no, they didn't. The Thanksgiving game against the Colts was actually pretty tough. They had 2 or 3 fourth down stops at the 1-yard line, which is kind of scary. But if they can pull it off against the Giants, who are actually a good team, then I think they'll have a very good chance of running the gauntlet. This is their most losable game out of the next 5. You got the Giants, Bills, Bengals, Ravens, and Browns. So if they're going to lose one game, it'll be either this week or next week. But I think they'll be able to pull it off. If they can pull it off, it'll be really close. If they have a bad game at home, it'll be pretty messy.
You see, for me, the Steelers have the star power, though. So I feel like I can never completely count them out. I'm not sure I haven't been keeping up, but is Ben Roethlisberger healthy again, or is he still kind of like fighting through things?
He's healthy, and it's at home, which is why I have hope for this game. Because if you look at him statistically, he has one of the best passer ratings at home, but he also has one of the worst when he's away. But he's at home, thankfully. I think the Steelers, if the Steelers' offensive line can keep Jason Pierre-Paul and Olivier Vernon out of Ben Roethlisberger's face, then I think he'll be able to have enough time for his receivers to get open. The issue is that the Giants have a really good secondary, headlined by Landon Collins, who is a monster. I think he's going to be Defensive Player of the Year, or he'll be a strong candidate for Defensive Player of the Year. So that's to be really careful with him.
All right, I get that. I would just never count the Steelers out when they're healthy because I know how scary that team can be.
Yeah.
All right, so the next matchup we have, and this is the first for us, although it's only our second podcast, but this is the first time where we have two writers who are actually on the same game. So we have the Rams against the Patriots. The Patriots writer, of course, and then we have Babcock as the Rams writers. So I'll give it a start, and he can jump in whenever he likes. But I mean, it's the Rams versus the Patriots. It's not too hard to and not to disrespect the Rams at all, but it's the Patriots. I say the Patriots take this fairly easily. I mean, the Rams have a good defense, though. I can't count out that defense.
Yeah, I like how you said, I'll just take it and then jump in whenever you want, because that's probably how the scoring's going to happen. The Patriots will just run up and down the field, and then they'll say the Rams jump in whenever you want. Score a few points just for fun. Because the Rams only win games when no one scores a touchdown. When people score touchdowns like last week against the Saints, they'll put up a few of their own, but they can't stop the other team from scoring them. So, the only thing that makes me think the Rams could possibly win this game is if somehow Brady, Gronk, and who else is hurt? Is Blunt
Edelman?
hurt?
No, Blunt's fine. Edelman's injured. He's on the injury report. He didn't practice today, and Chris Hogan is injured.
Yeah, honestly, all those people could probably not play, and they'd still win the game. So
I mean, Jimmy Garoppolo looked legit at the beginning of the season. But I mean, and I'm quoting Belichick on this, but the Rams defense held 5 teams under 14 points. Granted, the Patriots tend to be an exception to like that kind of stuff because of Brady, but if he's still not 100%, the Rams might keep it to a low-scoring game.
Yeah, still though. I mean, I always like this analogy. People talk about if the game were played 10 times. I think if the game were played 10 times, the Patriots would win 10 of them. So that's my opinion of how likely it is for the Rams to win, especially in Foxborough. So.
Foxborough is a tough place to play.
Absolutely.
So, Patriots, I guess that one's pretty clear-cut even with both of us here. So our next game we have 49ers versus the Bears, and Kayla, you can go ahead and take that.
Yeah, we go from a game that's almost a guaranteed pick to a game that is probably going to be 50-50 for a lot of people. I picked the Bears on it, but I can understand if you want to look at the 49ers and say that they're a good team. I think Matthew Martinez mentioned that this is the worst matchup for the Steelers left in the year, and after that, they're going to be good. For the Bears, for me at least, this is their last chance at getting another victory before the end of the year. After this, they've got their NFC division rivals, the NFC North rivals, and then Washington Redskins, who are playing really well and having a good year. So just based on all the injuries that they've got, this is really their best chance to win. It's at home. And then from here on out, we'll be looking at getting a good draft pick. But for the Bears, they've had a lot of injuries. Last week was a really disappointing finish. We had a lot of new names coming up just as other bigger names have kind of fallen off. We've had 2 suspensions from PEDs. So we dropped 2 touchdowns in the end zone last week, and that was tough. But they did show a lot of fight. It was good to see that as a fan. They in all their interviews, everybody's talking about how they're not giving up. In the locker room, they're still strong, and they've got a lot of leaders left. So that's good to see. It's good promise for next year. I've found out that mathematically they're not eliminated from the playoffs yet, which is hilarious, and it won't last for long, I can tell you that. As far as this game goes, the Bears faced Tennessee Titans quarterback Marcus Mariota last week, and Mariota wasn't really rushed in the pocket. I don't think that either team sacked the quarterback. But when Mariota was flustered, he was able to find space and run for first downs on multiple occasions. So the Bears showed that without a lot of their core linebackers in place, they don't really have a good job, or they don't really have a good way to contain mobile quarterbacks. That's the thing that scares me about Kaepernick is last week against the Dolphins, he made a lot of good throws, but he also ran the ball really well, tucked it and ran for third and long, and picked up first downs. So they were a touchdown away from forcing Miami, who's a playoff team, into overtime at home. So they've showed that they're a good team, and they're going to be formidable in Chicago. I think it'll be a close game. The Bears' best shot at winning is their run game. The 49ers are last in the league in rush defense, and the best offensive player left on the field for Chicago is Jordan Howard, their rookie out of Indiana. So if he can get back to the form he was in earlier in the year, there was talk about him being competing for Rookie of the Year. So I don't know that he'll win that, but he was certainly in contention for it, and he's kind of fallen off in the last couple games, but he's still been pretty solid, and I think he'll have a lot of success in San Francisco. I think the Bears will actually win this one. They won't score as much as they'd probably like to, but I'm going to go with a 1-point victory, 21-20.
I personally believe the Bears are going to take it myself. 49ers have not been impressive. And, I mean, it was garbage time play, but the backup quarterback, Barkley, I believe.
Yeah.
He actually, I thought he looked pretty decent in the highlights that I saw, and I can't put that loss on him. I think it was the receivers dropping the ball, not him.
Yeah, definitely. He put a lot of throws in just the right place, and his receivers' hands failed him on a couple occasions. But even his stats were pretty good, even with his receivers dropping like 11 passes or something like that. I mean, he could have,
which is ridiculous.
Yeah, he could have had a really solid game, stats wise, and he did have a solid game from watching the tape.
Yeah. Personally, I mean, I think they have a better chance at it with Barkley than with Jay Cutler. I don't think you see that effort. I don't think you see that effort against the Titans with Jay Cutler. Wasn't it like on almost like a comeback? Weren't they? Didn't they?
Yeah, last week.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were down 20. There's 20 points, 27-7 going into the fourth. They scored 2 touchdowns in the fourth quarter, and on their third drive, they dropped those passes in the end zone.
Yeah. You don't see that from Jay Cutler, but that's a different discussion. So that does it for our game picks. We moved through them fast, but that's what we're going for. So next up, and we actually have some debate topics this time around. So I'm opening up the floor to everyone on these, whoever wants to contribute. And a little bit unfiltered, but here we go. Our first question is Blake Bortles. Should the Jaguars start looking for a new quarterback? And I'm going to go ahead and say yes. The first thing, because all I keep hearing about Blake Bortles is his garbage time numbers. But you can't have a quarterback with garbage time numbers because it's garbage time. You're not winning games in garbage time. You might be mounting a comeback, but it's not going to be enough. Anyone else? Does anyone else think they should look for someone new, or is Blake Bortles it?
Well, I think we skipped a game.
Did we skip a game?
Yeah, we skipped Redskins at Cardinals.
Oh, I am sorry. That is my fault. I'm sorry, Jeremy.
You're all good, man.
So, Jeremy, Redskins at Cardinals.
Yeah, so Redskins at Cardinals, I'm thinking it's going to be a lot closer than everybody's thinking. Because, the Redskins. Okay. And I think that overall the team is going to be coming back. The Cardinals just had an article posted about them in the local newspaper in Arizona saying that they're basically out of the playoffs if they don't win this game, if they weren't already out. And at their current record, this is a make or break game. So I think Arians leads this team to a close victory. It'll be kind of interesting because you have Arizona's defense, who's first in yards allowed per game, and then Washington's offense, who's second in total yards per game. So it'll be an interesting matchup. And obviously, I think Washington's going to get pressure on Carson Palmer and Arizona because you got Ryan Kerrigan with 9 sacks on the season and Trent Murphy with 7. But I feel like the Cardinals are going to notice that this is a make or break game, and decide to come back and hope that their playoff hopes aren't completely gone. They do have to block some good or defend against some good receivers. Jamison Crowder has 725 yards and 6 touchdowns in this season for the Redskins, so that's a little scary. But I think that the Cardinals secondary is slowly improving, and then this game will be the make or break. So I think that extra push will get them the win. 24 final is what I'm predicting.
Okay, I can see that. On paper, just from like mentally, even though I've talked a lot about how the Cardinals aren't good, mentally in my mind, I see the Cardinals versus the Redskins, and I see still the Cardinals being the better team and coming out over the Redskins. But I believe right now the Redskins actually have a better record than them, if I'm not wrong. And
Redskins-
so probably, yeah, they do. I think. Let me. I'm just looking that up. But otherwise, yeah, 6-4 versus 4-6. Redskins have a better record. Kirk Cousins has been doing pretty well. I would normally see the Cardinals on top, but just record based and how momentum is going for these teams, I'm going to go ahead and say Redskins. But all right, guys. So now back to what I was saying originally, and I'm sorry for skipping over it, but our debate topics. So Blake Bortles, is he the guy for the Jaguars? I said my piece.
I think that. Go ahead, Matt.
Well, I mean, I'm the one who suggested this topic, and the reason why I wanted to talk about it is because it's so interesting to see the regression that Blake Bortles has gone through. Because last year he looked like a franchise guy, but this year, especially like if you look at his throwing motion, it was just pointed out to me on Twitter. If you look at his throwing motion compared to last year, it's completely different. And so I think it'll be up to whoever replaces the head coach, Gus Bradley. They'll have to, because I do think Gus Bradley will be fired at the end of this year. And so I think it'll be up to whoever the Jags hire next. They'll have to look at Blake Bortles and they'll have to say, can we fix him? Can we take him back to what he was last season? Or if not, they're gonna have to look for a new quarterback, or at least bring someone in to compete.
You know, Nira, this quarterback situation in Jacksonville reminds me a lot of the one in Chicago. You've got a talented quarterback, physically talented, but for some reason he just hasn't shown some of the intangibles or mental characteristics that the Super Bowl winning greatest, like, legendary quarterbacks have. So you want to say, yeah, Bortles is a good quarterback, or Cutler is a good quarterback, or whatever. But if your goal is to win a championship, you've got to get an elite quarterback. And, you know, for the Bears, like, I like Cutler. I hope he stays. I like watching him play, and I think he's kind of hated on. But honestly, I don't think he's going to win a Super Bowl in Chicago. And now, if the Bears go 10-6 next year and make the playoffs, I'll be happy. We don't have to win a Super Bowl for me to be happy, but for Jacksonville, I think they're just kind of in the same situation where I like Bortles. I thought he did well at UCF, and I thought he started off really well. And like Martinez has said, he's kind of fallen off a little bit with his form, and the question just becomes, what's his ceiling? And is that good enough for the franchise?
See, I think that he just needs somebody behind him, like not a huge push of any kind, but I think he's gotten too comfortable in the system, and Gus Bradley is kind of letting him ride out and see if he can actually turn this around. But I don't think that's what he needs. I think they bring in, whether it's a veteran or they draft some guy late to try to compete with him. I think something needs to go down for them to successfully make him back into the player. Because I don't think he's done growing. I don't think he's stopped. I think he just got comfortable in a situation.
To me, he just doesn't seem to have like that it factor that certain quarterbacks I feel like I can see, and they just pass the eye test. And like, I mean, you look at Prescott and he has it. I even see Carson Wentz and I feel like he has it. but I don't know. I don't see Blake Bortles, and I just don't see that it factor. That I just don't see it. I just don't see him as a guy.
It's not like he doesn't have weapons either. Allen Hurns, Allen Robinson, Marquise Lee. I mean, those are all capable receivers.
Yeah, I just don't think it's him. Not to say he's a bad quarterback. Maybe put him on a good team. Like, not to say Jacksonville, like you said, they have weapons. Maybe put him on a team like the Denver Broncos, where everything is already there and they're just missing a quarterback, and that's a championship team. But maybe just not in Jacksonville.
You know what I think it is?
What's up?
I think it's the color rush uniforms. I think he just got mad at those. And it all went downhill from there. That's what it is.
That's their first mistake.
Yeah.
Oh.
And a big mistake too.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So our next debate question: who's the current MVP? And this, I feel like last year at this time, this topic was a lot like a heavier debate, especially because you had Cam Newton, you had who else was there? Carson Palmer, Tom Brady. They were like all in the running for it. This year, I feel like it's a little quieter, and this might sound biased, but I'm still going to put Tom Brady's name there because he's only doing 12 games this season, and he's still killing it stat-wise. And as far as his stats, like with all his stats, he's crushing most other QBs out there.
Drew
Except
Brees.
for one.
Drew Brees.
Is that Drew Brees? It's my fantasy quarterback. I love the guy.
Tom Brady's QBR is second only to one person.
Dak Prescott.
Dak Prescott.
Dak Prescott.
That's my MVP right there.
I thought he was ahead of Dak Prescott, or is that like
No.
after last week?
It changed this past after Thanksgiving and after Sunday. Dak Prescott now leads the NFL in QBR.
There you go. And that was a sloppy game by the Patriots, but that also was, you could tell his mechanics were off. He has that knee injury he's dealing with, and I'm making excuses, but whatever. Brady's Brady.
I definitely would put Brady in the conversation. Now, the thing with me is everybody says I am absolutely stupid for thinking Dak is the reason for the Cowboys' success. Everybody's telling me it's all Ezekiel Elliott. And what I want to point out is last year, we still had a top 5 rushing attack with Darren McFadden. Only one piece was missing, and that was the person behind Romo. And I will attribute and I will put my success all on Dak because it's hard enough being a rookie, but to win 10 out of your first 11 games for the most watched franchise in the NFL who all eyes are on, that you either love him or you hate him, I think he doesn't even feel the pressure, and that's what makes him outstanding.
Kano, your offensive line is legendary. You could stand behind that line and make the passes that Dak Prescott's throwing.
Okay, but someone's got to throw the ball, and they had the same line last year.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's why Darren
when
McFadden led the league in rushing.
last year,
And they
we
went
had the
what?
quarterback carousel
4-12?
like the Browns.
Here,
We went 4-12.
okay. The
3
stats.
of those games, Romo won.
Yeah. What I would say is it's not all Prescott and it's not all Elliott.
They help
The way
each other.
Prescott has led that team has been exemplary for a rookie. I mean, he looks like he's a 5-year vet out there. I mean, his passes aren't always the sharpest thing in the world, but he gets the job done, and he's poised in the pocket, and he's really found a way to make that team go. And the other thing is, I feel like, at least for me, something about, like, these are the new Cowboys. These aren't the old in-your-face Cowboys who, used to talk all the time and
This
not
isn't
backing
Tony
up.
Romo and Terrell Owens and everybody,
Yeah.
Marion Barber. No.
Yeah, this is a humble team, well, humbler.
Mhm.
And, I feel like they really have good chemistry. And, I mean, they go out on Sunday, and you expect them to win pretty much every game. And I would say that's only true for 2 franchises in the NFL right now. I think we all know what the other one is. So,
I just want to say this. Tom Brady, in his 7 games, 2,200 yards, 18 touchdowns, 1 interception. Dak Prescott,
Kind of ridiculous.
2,800 yards, I'm rounding, 18 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. Drew Brees, almost 3,600 yards, 30 touchdowns, 8 interceptions. The Saints would not have as many wins as the Saints could be winless without Drew Brees, and I think that's what qualifies. That's why Drew Brees should be the MVP. because the Saints' defense is awful. And the Saints' offense, without Drew Brees, you put Dak Prescott in, it's not going to work. If you put Ben Roethlisberger in, I don't think it works. Drew Brees, I think, is absolutely the MVP, and I think Derek Carr should be the runner-up.
Derek Carr should definitely be in the talk about this, and probably maybe Matty Ice, just because what he's doing in for the Falcons is pretty good right now.
Yeah, he's pretty underrated right now.
But Derek Carr, especially if he's taking that team to the playoffs, which they're tied for the first seed in the AFC right now, then Derek Carr deserves to be in that argument.
3,100 yards, 22 touchdowns, 5 interceptions.
There's an article floating around out there actually that is recommending that instead of Dak or Zeke being nominated and winning, it should be the offensive line, and that it has never been done before, but there's no rule saying you can't nominate a whole unit.
Yeah, that's fair. That's
but they're not going to do it. There's no.
I mean, who would get the MVP, Scott
There's
Linehan?
no rule that you can't throw cupcakes at the White House, but they're not going to let you do it. I mean, come on.
Well, it's not going to get very far unless you have a good arm.
That's
Yeah.
why
The
it's
thing is,
Drew
So I'll
Brees.
give it to Dak.
the name.
give it
the,
to Drew Brees. Drew Brees
the
can
name
hit
is
that White House.
guys, the name is MVP for a reason. Most valuable player, not most valuable unit. So I feel like they won't do it to that because there might not be a rule against it, but it's kind of self-implied by the name.
I mean, it could be.
And another reason is they don't give it to teams that are not in the hunt for the playoffs either. Has there ever been an MVP that came from a team that wasn't in the playoffs?
No, because I think part of your MVP thing is that you're carrying your team to the playoffs.
Okay. I know that there's only been one Super Bowl MVP from the losing team.
I'm blanking on that.
Super Bowl V, it was Cowboys, Colts, and I believe it was Chuck Howley. It was one of the defensive linemen that won Super Bowl MVP, but Dallas lost that game to the Colts.
There was something similar happened in the NBA, and I'm not even going to try and remember because I don't remember. Only one person's ever been the MVP on the losing team.
Jerry West.
That's what it is. All
Yep.
right. So our next debate topic, and because this kind of has something to do with the Cowboys, and since we were talking about them for MVP, who will finish with the best record overall? And right now, it's pretty close between the Raiders, Patriots, and Cowboys. Cowboys being at the top of that list. And maybe Kano might not be the best one to talk about this because he's a Cowboys fan, but go ahead.
What I'm honestly going to say is I agree with you. It's a three-way tie. What's going to happen is who can win more down the stretch. And in all honesty, it looks like let's see. I would have to say I predicted Dallas going 12-4, 13-3. Could that be the best record? Possibly. But, I mean, the Raiders are also on a really good run right now, and, of course, it's the Patriots. Do you ever count them out of anything in the NFL?
No, you never do. Even though our defense, or the Patriots' defense rather, has been really shaky. They showed some fight, and this was I heard this the other day, but when the Saints won the Super Bowl, they had one of the worst defenses in the league. But they were a top 10 defense in takeaways, which the Patriots are right now, by the way. Top 10 defense in turnovers and, well, causing turnovers, rather. So if the Patriots can become that, even with the shaky defense, they're obviously in the running, like I said, never count them out. And same thing with the Raiders with what they're doing now. Even though they have a bad defense, they have a monster called Khalil Mack that can just I don't want to see him in the playoffs with our shaky offensive line. I don't want to see Khalil Mack.
And I'll say the only good thing going for the Dallas defense is Sean Lee.
Nira, you said you didn't want to see Khalil Mack. I do. Khalil Mack's fun to watch.
No, he's awesome. Don't get me wrong. I like Khalil Mack. I'm just saying I don't want to see Khalil Mack against my offensive line. I mean, or the Patriots' offensive line, rather. It's just not – it's not fun. I don't like the idea of it. I'd rather not.
Are we going to pick some teams here?
I mean, I'm biased, so I'm going to say Patriots, but I'm looking at – if I'm looking at a schedule, then I'm looking at, like, the Cowboys schedule, and the only one that I'm really considering that they might lose to is the Giants, unless for some reason the Buccaneers pull what they pulled against Seattle, and then that's 2 games, and then that's only 3 games lost.
I would have to say I think it's going to be probably between the Patriots and the Cowboys, and this is no disrespect to the Raiders, but that division is still up for grabs.
That's still up for grabs. That's a dangerous division.
Very.
Yeah.
So if I got to put a number on it, I think it will end up being a tie. Not it's between the Cowboys and the Patriots with the same amount. And
I'm thinking 13-3.
I was gonna say 14-2, but that's assuming Patriots don't lose any other games. Which, let's see. Let me look at my schedule. The only potential loss that I could see is the Broncos. Really, the Broncos. That's the scariest game on the schedule because of that defense. So either 14-2 or 13-3.
Have the Rams had an upset yet?
The Seahawks, technically.
Seahawks.
Did they tie with the Seahawks? Did they beat them?
They beat
them 9-6. Wasn't it the field goal game?
Field goals.
Okay. Otherwise, I would have said that the Patriots probably would be upset since the Rams hadn't had an upset game, but apparently they have. So never mind.
All right. So our next debate topic: will the Browns join the 2008 Lions with a complete winless season?
Yes.
Yeah. I actually don't think so. I think they're going to pull out that random win that's going to save them.
I think so too. And Martinez, you're going to hate me, but it might be against Pittsburgh.
No, it absolutely. Yeah. If they're going to win one game, it's going to be against Pittsburgh.
Because that's like when they always pull it out. It's like Texas and OU. Texas could be having the worst year ever, but man, when it's Red River time, suddenly they show up.
Yeah. Is RG3 coming back at all this year, or are they just shelving him for next year?
He's coming back.
Yeah, I heard a report he's cleared for Sunday.
Who are the Browns playing this Sunday?
Bengals. The remaining schedule is at home versus the Bengals, at the Bills, home versus the Chargers, at Pittsburgh.
It says Robert Griffin III cleared for contact, whatever that means.
Then I think they actually they'll probably lose at Pittsburgh, but they might win Sunday. Just because the Bengals have been a dumpster fire.
Yeah, it'll be either Sunday or at Pittsburgh. But they'll get their way.
If you're actually going to win a game, now would be the time. I don't know if you can go into Pittsburgh and win.
I mean, they've been shaky. And like I said, the Browns will bring out that one game. And I feel like it's going to be with when RG3 comes back. He'll have like 2 more good games before he breaks another bone, and then that's the season.
You know, honestly, I wouldn't be surprised at a loss or beating the Steelers, too. One of the reasons that I've kind of been thinking the Browns are going to get a win before too long is that they play really hard. They're kind of like the 49ers that I was watching earlier. They play with a lot of effort. There may not be a lot of talent there, but those guys go hard. And the Steelers are honestly not very well coached to me. From what I've seen, I like Mike Tomlin. I think he's maybe a cool coach. But that's not necessarily what you want in a coach. You know, Belichick's not cool. You know, the popular coaches aren't the cool guys. And Mike Tomlin seems like he's a player's coach, and he's a guy that everybody seems to like. But I don't think his teams are very well coached.
Yeah, and going off like with the non-nice guys like Belichick, for example, you said Popovich is not really known to be a nice person.
Yeah, Saban.
Yeah. So.
Harbaugh. Harbaugh's the prime example in my view.
Harbaugh.
He's certainly not cool, I don't think.
Yeah.
No. Wait, which of the 2 Harbaughs we're talking about? The relevant one or the one that were around college ball?
The relevant one.
Sort of relevant. Okay, the Ravens guy.
Wait, what? I guess you guys haven't been on the internet lately.
No.
Yeah, I got to say Jim is more relevant than John.
Hold on. I know you guys don't watch college whatever much, but tell me you watched Michigan, Ohio State.
No, but
of course.
I was going to see.
Okay, let me rephrase that. Who knows who won the game?
Ohio State. Now,
not Michigan.
Who should have won?
Just kidding.
Michigan.
Michigan.
Yeah.
How are you going to tell a coach? How are you going to tell a coach that a penalty is a penalty in another sport? What do you mean it's a penalty in basketball? We're not playing basketball. Come on now.
Yeah, no. I saw small highlights, and that should have been Michigan's game. I mean, I did also want Michigan to win just because of Tom Brady, but that's about it.
It's an interesting reason.
Yeah. Well, I don't watch college ball. But anyways,
Okay.
along with the Browns, so again, college ball, who do the Browns pick? Like, where are they going if they become the winless team this year?
Martinez, you're a draft expert. What do you think?
Miles Garrett. I think
Who's Myles
I think a lot of he is a defensive lineman, defensive end out of Texas A&M. He's by far to be considered the best player in the draft. Kind of like in the same way that Jadeveon Clowney was in 2014. I know a lot of people are going to be wondering if the Browns should take a quarterback, and I think that the
I don't
answer
think so.
should be I think the answer is no, just because this quarterback class isn't that great. You're just kind of picking the best out of a bad class, kind of like was it last year? I think it was. No, it wasn't
2 years
last
ago.
year. Yeah, a couple
No,
years ago.
Manziel, because last year they picked up Griffin from free agency. So.
Oh, I'm talking about the draft.
Oh yeah, I know, but I'm saying they I don't think they picked a quarterback last year because
Okay.
The draft with
because
Manziel was 2014, I believe.
yeah.
Yeah.
And see, like the thing is, going on with that, you used your 2014 first round pick on Manziel. If you keep using your first round picks on quarterbacks and they're not panning out, the rest of your team is suffering. So build your team with talent, and then I'm a firm believer that the quarterback will come. If the team is there, the quarterback will come.
I got a bit of a bold prediction. I think their general manager has not done what everybody projected him to do. So I would not be surprised with the fact that they have 2 first-round picks if they trade down. I know how crazy that sounds, but everything that they've done in the last 3 drafts has been insane. They will definitely be taking a defensive lineman, in my opinion, either Myles Garrett or Jonathan Allen, if they stay where they are. But I could see them definitely trading down as like a big shocker to the NFL.
They
Does
do
Hugh
have 2
Jackson-
first-round picks already, though. I mean, I guess they could trade back and then trade back up if they wanted someone who fell to them.
Can you blame Hugh Jackson for this season?
No.
I think Hugh Jackson's a great head coach.
And the fact that he's so optimistic in such a shitty team, come on.
I feel bad for the Browns. Like, I know they're usually the laughing stock and everyone pokes fun at them, but this year, especially for Hugh Jackson, it's just been like the quarterback injuries and just injuries everywhere. Not to mention that line is terrible, that offensive line. I feel bad for them.
Yeah, the injury bug really hit Cleveland.
Yeah.
Not to mention their all-pro corner and Joe Hayden has really dropped off the earth the past 2 years.
I mean, there's that, but I feel like he's still motivating the team, which is the big part. So since he's still motivating the play, the players look like they still get motivated to play. They're playing hard. I think that's why Hugh Jackson's not doing a bad job.
You guys, you know what the problem is?
What's up?
Their uniforms, man.
Killing
them.
Oh my god. I have a friend who actually really likes their uniforms. He thinks they're a very classic
They
color
look like a
combination.
3-year-old design. Yeah, it's a classic color combination. It's also a classic
It
little
looks like when you
5-year-old watercolor on the easel.
No, we
what it looks
need to overlook the jerseys and get them to put their banners together in the right order.
Yeah, that's good.
Oh my god. No, that was the best thing ever.
I mean, it's like there've been no-win seasons before, but there's never been one marked by such a massive episode of fan tomfoolery that epitomized the season like that. I mean, that's going to go down in history right there. Hey, Hugh Jackson is from L.A. I didn't know that. That's pretty cool. Yeah, it's not Hugh Jackson's fault. He's from L.A.
Maybe he should coach the Rams instead of Jeff Fisher.
Yeah, there you go. Now we're talking.
Don't get him started on Jeff Fisher.
Hey, we gotta go, Jeff Fisher. Now's a good time. Let's go. Let's go in on.
Jeff Fisher. All right, the roast of Jeff Fisher begins. Let's go.
Wait, I thought we were gonna do a comparison between him and Belichick and see who's a better coach.
Without a doubt, it's Jeff Fisher. I don't even know how you make that comparison.
Yeah, I mean, look, he starts the season 3-1 with a win against the Seahawks.
The Patriots could not beat the Seahawks. You got me there.
Yeah,
I
always got you. Yeah, that's how it works.
So
Let's see.
there it is, confirmed. You heard it here at ACAA.
I admitted it.
Jeff Fisher better than Bill Belichick. Just want to make sure
Yeah.
we're clear on that.
I'm the biggest Patriots fanboy right here. I admitted it. I'm sorry. He's the GOAT. He's the GOAT.
Here's what I want to know. Where on earth do you get the right to tell an NFL legend he can't be on your sideline when you have done nothing for this franchise?
He went 7-9. I mean, that's technically not nothing, but
It's not positive. It's not a positive record.
that's true.
And
For those who don't know, Jeff Fisher. Well, according to Eric Dickerson, legendary Rams running back, he has a radio show, and he said on the show that apparently Jeff Fisher told him that he couldn't, like, he needed to stop talking mess, as some say, about the Rams and his coaching. Otherwise, he wouldn't be he would stop he would not be allowed to come and get tickets and be allowed to be on the sidelines.
it's ridiculous. And
At least, yeah.
yeah, no. I guess it was one of the reports with like a lot of the players feeling uncomfortable with him there. But has a player actually come out and said that they don't want him there?
Yeah.
No, I don't. I mean, I'm just talking. I don't know if they have, so I don't think so.
I haven't seen anything, but I haven't been looking.
I haven't either, but
it's go ahead.
yeah, I just feel like overall, I get what the distraction is, and like I get, like I guess the total idea of why you do it, but still, like you're losing, you got to just take the criticism and turn the other cheek. I guess like you just got to deal with it. When you don't have a good team, you're gonna get criticized. People aren't gonna like you. Former players are gonna do what they're gonna do. You got to deal with it, and Jeff Fisher's just not.
No, I'm not happy with it.
Yeah.
Anyway, our next topic, and I feel like it's a little more fleshed out now. Who wins the AFC West? Right now, the Raiders are sitting on top of it, but it's still kind of up for grabs. But I am leaning more towards the Raiders.
Raiders.
No Chiefs, no Broncos, no Chargers. I mean,
I
the
like Raiders.
Chargers might take it. You never know.
I think the Raiders have too good of a head start.
Yeah,
no,
I'm
without
going
a
to have
doubt.
to agree. I think the Raiders have the eye of the tiger this year.
I'd rather see the Raiders in the playoffs than the Broncos. Though I would rather not go to Mile High Stadium again, as the Patriots. Don't want to see that. Don't even care if it's Trevor Siemian. I don't want to see that defense anywhere near the playoffs.
I like the Raiders too in the playoffs and winning the division. I mean, that's a really good division if you look at it. I mean, probably
That's the hardest division in football.
Yeah, I would say so. I mean, you've got Derek Carr in Oakland. You've got some really good coaching, and I think Alex Smith in Kansas City, who's talented there. Denver's quarterback situation is a little rough, but obviously their defense is legendary, and it's won them Super Bowls before.
Yeah.
And then Chargers have good coaches as well as an elite QB as well. So if they can get healthy, they're going to compete for this division next year, top to bottom. That reminds me of the SEC right there. That's pretty good.
So do the Broncos make the playoffs then?
Wild
Yes.
card.
Wild card. I do think that they might take the wild card.
It's them or the Chiefs.
I think the wild card.
I don't think they'll make it far. I mean, unless that defense pulls what it did last year. But even then, if they're coming through Foxborough, let's say they make it farther and they're coming through Foxborough, I think the Patriots can take it. But that's my bias.
Well, no, Foxborough, unless you're Seattle, is one of the toughest places to play.
Yeah. Although Pete Carroll came out and started trash talking my Patriots, saying the fans don't scare him. That the fans don't scare him in Foxborough. Which
I would be scared to go to Foxborough, but that's because I have a functioning normal brain.
yeah.
I'll tell you this: I'm not scared of Seattle anymore.
Now
I'm not scared to go up to Seattle.
with their 12th man.
Oh, please! They had to pay A&M how much money to use that catchphrase?
With their 12-year-old men. I'm sorry. I mean 12th man.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
What if they just called them 12s? Is that still copyright infringement? They say that a lot.
I don't think so.
They
Or
should
we
just
are
do
12.
No, they do use 12s a lot. I don't know. It's Seattle.
I just think it's funny that Pete Carroll came back to the Coliseum and lost. That just makes me laugh.
Ooh, I did not see the Shakespearean irony in that.
Oof. Also, I remember because Pete Carroll used to coach the Patriots. In case anyone didn't know that, he was before Belichick. And then in 2001, when the Patriots won, I believe Pete Carroll won his college championship, and he's like, "Well, what? I wonder what they think of me now." Nothing. We have Belichick, and we won a Super Bowl. I'm sorry, we're all set with you. Have fun in college.
I love how he trashed Mark Sanchez for going into the NFL, and then not even, 5 minutes later, he's running to Seattle to coach?
Yeah. Although that defense is the Legion of Boom is still scary.
Not what it was 2 years ago, though. 2 or 3 years ago.
They've had some injuries too, though.
And then what is with Seattle's offensive line?
Terrible. They have a tight end playing left tackle.
Oh.
Bold prediction. Pete Carroll announced that there's going to be wiener dog races at halftime.
Yeah. Oh,
Uh-oh.
yes.
My bold prediction. Actually, no. To be honest, I saw it on Twitter that the winner would go and play right tackle.
So wiener dog races. So
yeah, I'm gonna adopt that as a bold prediction for me.
So are we gonna see a little wiener dog on in like pads, or are we gonna see his owner in pads?
No, the wiener dog.
And then,
the wiener dog.
And then you can't hit the wiener dog because then you're a jerk.
Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely. It's
So-
You could run around the wiener dog or jump over it.
it's a PR game.
You could go all Jonathan Allen on it, just Superman over the wiener dog.
But
Hey,
okay.
speaking of which, just about the draft thing, Martinez, you think they're going to go with Garrett over Allen? Some people think Allen's the better prospect.
I don't know. I just like Myles Garrett. I think I think he's a better pass rusher, and that's something that the Browns have really struggled with is pass rush.
It's true.
All right. So our next question, and it's going to be our final question for today. If you were an NFL coach, what type of coordinator would you be, and what type of system would you use? And I'm biased, so Belichick, New England Patriots, Belichick.
Such freedom of thought being you've invoked right here.
I'm burdened by greatness. It's a
How about
curse.
you use the greatness up inside your head? How about that? For those of us who don't know, what are the particular quirks of the Belichick scheme?
So he uses a mixture of different kinds of. Well, do you want me to go offensive or defensive?
Well, which one? Who would you be, and what system would you use? So if you're going to use the Belichick system, which coordinator would you be first?
I guess defensive coordinator. If you're going in that direction like that, he's essentially, even though we have Tom Brady and our offense is better than the defense right now, he's essentially a defensive coordinator, and he runs a 3-4 scheme on defense. I've been good with those, to be honest. But 3 linemen, 4 linebackers. That.
Okay. All right. I would be a defensive coordinator as well, but I would use the 4-3, the flex that Tom Landry invented, just because I don't know how with 3 defensive linemen you can put pressure on the quarterback. I think you throw that one extra in, and that's what I would focus on. Is I would try to build the defensive line as monster as possible.
Well, see, that's the thing with the 3-4 defense.
Coverage will happen.
That's the thing with the 3-4 defense is that you use the linebacker as that extra lineman, and that's why you have someone like Von Miller, who's a linebacker, but he's there and sacks a QB all day like it's his job because it is.
Or DeMarcus Ware, he was originally linebacker.
Yeah, and personally, I think defense is kind of the way to go if you're a coordinator, just because as good as the opposing quarterback might be, if he can't get a pass off, if he's on the ground more than than the ball's going like in the air, they're gonna have a hard time, and it's gonna be frustrating, and that makes your offense's job a whole lot easier. So I think it starts with the defense. Anyone else got anything for that?
So
Well,
I don't.
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say I was afraid to say something just because I would sound biased, kind of like you, Danny. But the Bears' defensive system, I kind of like it. It's really like bend but don't break in the secondary, where they stay close to the receivers. They don't get pass interference calls, but and they don't get a whole lot of interceptions. But what they do is they just try to make the receivers look covered enough to make the quarterback rethink throwing it to them. You force the guy to go through his reads, and then you rely on a lot of talent on your front seven. They do the 3-4 as well. So they've got Leonard Floyd, or they had Leonard Floyd. A lot of these guys are hurt now, but they had a lot of talent up on that defensive line. And when you can kind of stack that box with a lot of really good players, and then you confuse the quarterback with blitzing linebackers and guys dropping into coverage and who's covering the running back, a lot of young quarterbacks get kind of flustered by that, and it's kind of fun to watch because if you've got good corners that don't let receivers get away from them, then you kind of ease the quarterback into, okay, well, he's single coverage. If I can make a good throw, all I have to do is kind of give it a second and he'll be open, or at least open enough. And then by that time, you've got guys like Akeem Hicks and Leonard Floyd and Danny Trevathan, who just tore his ACL, getting after the quarterback, forcing fumbles in the backfield, and then causing negative plays. It's kind of fun to watch.
Yeah, I mean, everyone. It sucks for the quarterback, but everyone loves to see a quarterback get sacked, unless it's your quarterback.
Yeah.
So that the defense it matters, and so I just don't see how well can an offensive run team, like solely offensive run team, do? Like, anyone have an example for me
Of what exactly?
of like of a team that's like more offensively based?
Like
Cowboys.
Cowboys,
Mhm.
yeah, they're doing great. I just don't see how that can be sustained over like long periods of times. I mean, but then they're proving me wrong with 10-1.
Well, the only thing the defense has done good is they have not allowed a 100-yard rusher yet.
There you go.
That's the only thing.
I actually think Pittsburgh is a perfect example of this. From 2005 to 2010, their defense was amazing. They won 2 Super Bowls, went to 3, and now they have one of the best. And that was with the best defense, or one of the top 5 defenses every year throughout that span. And now they have one of the top offenses, at least for the 2 years prior to this year. And even this year, their offense is still pretty good. And really, defense carries teams.
It does.
Because if you can get turnovers, if you can force 3 and outs, then that just gives your offense more. It gives your offense more opportunities to score.
Defense wins championships. It's been said again. It's been said, and it'll keep being said until the end of time. Defense wins championships.
Yeah, I feel like the Giants' defense for the longest time, the pass rush. I personally like the NASCAR defensive formation the best, the 5 linemen rushing. I just think it works out so well. And, I mean, they won 2 Super Bowls with that formation, so you really can't question it too much.
Don't bring that back up to me.
Hey, try playing them twice a year every year. Don't give me that nonsense.
No, I don't. Well, that's why you have the best offensive line.
Now,
Yeah.
when they had that defense, we didn't.
Yeah. But anyways, guys, I think that just about does it for our Armchair Express podcast. Anyone have any closing words? No?
Roll Tide.
Speak now, forever hold your peace.
Wrong sport, Feltman.
Same sport.
Completely different league level.
All right, guys. Anyways, thanks for joining us on the Armchair Express. Go check out Armchair All-Americans. My articles are better than yours. Roll Armchair, guys, and
Roll Armchair.
have a good
And
night.
how
See
about
you
them
next
Cowboys?
week. See you next week.